Both men had been on opposing sides of the Bougainville conflict. Mr. Singirok rising through the ranks of the Papua New Guinea Defence Force to become its commander in the 1990s, while Mr. Pais became a rebel leader during the height of the Bougainville conflict. Both men on opposing sides on the battlefields of Bougainville and once sworn enemies. The crisis had meant that both men were enemies on the battlefields of Bougainville for opposing sides. This morning was emotional for both gentlemen as they embraced and shed tears.
We met the long expression
recalling their comradeship prior to the Bougainville conflict. Obviously having seen each other for a really long time.
Correct.
78.
Yeah, 78. Graduated from JSC, and I was the company commander. I joined my company.
He was my boss. OC Motors.
He was there.
2IC.
So during the crisis, were you on different sides?
Yeah, you're right.
Never met him.
We never met.
Never met him during this. This is the first time.
So this is the first time you've met
Correct.
since 1978?
1978 when I left. He became commander when I was already out in the field.
Emotions ran high as these once warring groups sat together and prayed together prior to the commencement of counselling sessions. The counselling sessions facilitated by the PNG Council of Churches under the State-Church Partnership. According to Chairman of Heads of Churches, Bishop Rokus Tatamai, these counselling sessions crucial to helping veterans from both sides of the conflict come to terms with what has happened, but more importantly, provide an avenue for both sides to reconcile.
As we can experience, if you don't attend to these issues, they do explode times again and late in life. So this will be, as I say, it's not going to be a one-off and the closure of it all. It's going to be like a process that we begin to move forward. But if we can deal with some of those hard realities, because this is the first time they'll be dealing with them separately, and then they'll be facing each other.
Representatives from the National Security Force veterans include former PNGDF commanders, former correctional service heads, and former police officers who had served on Bougainville, whilst the Bougainville delegation comprised of former leaders of the BRA, Mekamui Resistance Force, as well as women, widows and orphan representatives. This pre-reconciliation meeting, phase 1 of the national reconciliation process, which will culminate with the official national reconciliation ceremony in Panguna, Autonomous Region of Bougainville. The final day of phase 1 of the pre-reconciliation ceremony got underway at the Vunapope Catholic Mission in Kokopo today. But it was the Joint Security Force veterans and Bougainville veterans who were at the center of proceedings, with both sides asking for forgiveness for crimes committed during the Bougainville conflict. Representatives from both sides setting the scene for reconciliation. Veterans from Bougainville calling for understanding from their former enemies.
There are loved ones from both sides. They will not accept the whole process. But as time continues, maybe you may all get by sanap na yumi by looking that it is good for a good cause. And I believe this is a new pathway that we all are tracking. And we believe that no matter what kind ask him, you meet by Kenga, it is only a step forward into the peace by peaceful means, and that is the settlement that our leaders have achieved.
Thank you for Defense Force training me. Please, CIS, same time, Nipla must talk. Nipla sorry. Situation has been bringing Nipla to this level. Where government law, you need to plan on being up on religion. And making you, now me, became enemies.
Whilst the PNG side also seeking forgiveness for atrocities committed during the 10-year conflict.
We are Melanesian. The way forward for us is to the spirit of Melanesia. We'll chart a way forward as brothers, as Papua New Guineans, as Bougainvilleans. We'll chart a way that the suffering of our people, of our mothers and our children who have died And one generation of our children who have missed out completely in school, that we're going to put all our efforts under the grace of our great God, that we'll find a path that is amicable, that will be sustainable, that we can coexist as brothers and family of Melanesian.
Me come to talk sorry. I left whatever opportunity I had to come say sorry. Because then I can get on with my life. We are with you. We are with you. Good or bad of it, we are with you.
At the height of the conflict, Major General Jerry Singirok was in charge of the PNGDF, a position that he said was a difficult one given the political, constitutional and moral challenges. The former PNGDF commander apologizing for the wrongs committed under his tenure.
Because I held the Bible to defend my country. This is the same Bible that my colleagues sitting in front of me on my right, and even the policemen and CIS have taken an oath. It was not my choice to go to Bougainville. I was told to go to Bougainville. I was only an instrument of a state institution.
Today's pre-reconciliation ceremony ending with the traditional breaking of the arrows to signify the end of the Bougainville conflict. This now paves the way for a national reconciliation to take place at Panguna Autonomous Region of Bougainville. In what has been described as a giant leap forward in the reconciliation process of Bougainville, the man who was Prime Minister when the Bougainville crisis first erupted has for the first time publicly apologized. Serabi Namaliu apologizing in the presence of National Joint Security Force veterans and Bougainville veterans. His apology ending the conclusion of Phase 1 of the national reconciliation process.
Today, I join you in saying sorry. I'm extremely sorry for those that I caused psychological trauma, that I caused hardships, that I caused to lose loved ones, that I caused to lose friends, brothers and sisters, and obviously the many thousands of innocent people who got caught in the crossfire through no fault of their own, but through the circumstances in which
Serabi Namaliu, as Prime Minister in 1989, ordered the deployment of national security forces to Bougainville to quell violence that erupted over landowner demands from the Panguna mine, this marking the beginning of the decade-long Bougainville crisis. Some estimates claim that up to 20,000 lives were lost in the crisis, an event that affected the lives of many on both sides of this tragedy. In apologizing for the effects of his decision to send troops to Bougainville, Serabi emphasized that his decision as Prime Minister had remained a burden on his conscience and one that continued to haunt him even after exiting national politics.
I am sorry that I caused you such hardships, such trauma. It is something that has been on my shoulders all these years, for the last 30 years. Been a huge burden that I've been trying to find time myself to atone for publicly. And today, I guess, tonight, it is the first time ever that I have stood in front of a large gathering like this to say so. And I say so also because I lost friends, people that I knew personally, friends of mine, went to university with, went to school with during that time. So I felt it personally as well. But even more so also because Bougainville is so close to home. In many ways, we've always regarded each other as brothers and sisters.
The former Prime Minister's apology concluded Phase 1 of the National Reconciliation Process, a process which saw State Security Force veterans and Bougainville veterans reconciling in Kokopo, East New Britain Province. Serabi acknowledging the effects of his decision to those present.
I just want to say I'm sorry to the mothers and children of Bougainville, to the leaders of Bougainville, to the commanders of Bougainville who are here tonight, and of course to our defense or discipline forces serving as well as retired who are here tonight after a long day. I've spoken for a long, long time because this is the first time ever that I've ever had this opportunity.
In accepting the apology from Serabi, Autonomous Bougainville Government Vice President Raymond Masono formally invited the former Prime Minister to be a part of the National Reconciliation Program in Panguna.
This is indeed a very significant event, a pre-reconciliation towards the main reconciliation which is planned for after the referendum to be held in Panguna, the epicenter of the Bougainville conflict. I want to extend an invitation to Sir Ravi Namali, former Prime Minister, to attend the main reconciliation in Panguna once the dates have been finalized.